Imagine an island, one of the most remote places on Earth. On this isolated island, a mystery stands silent and tall, staring out at the endless sea. These are the Moai, giant stone statues with solemn faces and imposing figures. For centuries they have captivated the human imagination, silent witnesses to a forgotten past. The fascination with the Moai is universal, appearing in movies, books, and our dreams of ancient wonders. They are a profound symbol of human ambition, creativity, and the enduring power of culture. Recent discoveries are unraveling the enigma of how these colossal statues were transported across the island's rugged terrain. The answer is not one of brute force, but of elegance, intelligence, and a deep understanding of physics. Join me as we journey to this remote island to uncover a truth that honors the ingenuity of the Rapa Nui and reshapes our view of human history. To truly understand the Moai, we must first travel back in time, immersing ourselves in the world of the ancient Rapa Nui. Their story is one of ingenuity, resilience, and mystery, set against the backdrop of one of the most isolated places on Earth. The story begins with the Rapa Nui people, skilled Polynesian navigators who settled this remote island around the 12th century. Guided by the stars and the currents, they journeyed thousands of miles across the vast Pacific Ocean, bringing with them their traditions, beliefs, and a deep connection to their ancestors. Between 1400 and 1650 CE, these remarkable people embarked on an extraordinary project, carving nearly 1,000 monumental statues from volcanic tuff. The work was painstaking, requiring not only immense skill, but also a sophisticated understanding of stone and tools. Each Moai was unique, reflecting the artistry and spiritual devotion of its creators. These statues were not just decorations. They were the living faces of deified ancestors, believed to embody the mana, or spiritual power, of those who had passed on. Their solemn expressions and imposing presence were meant to inspire awe and reverence. The purpose of the Moai was deeply spiritual. Placed on stone platforms called ahu along the coastline, they faced inland towards the villages they were meant to protect, watching over the people and the land. Their gaze was a constant reminder of the ancestors' enduring influence. The Rapa Nui believed that by carving and erecting these statues, they could channel the power of their ancestors for the benefit of the living. Rituals and ceremonies were held at the base of the Moai, strengthening the bond between the past and present, and ensuring the prosperity of the community. By the 17th century, however, the production of Moai had ceased. Internal conflicts, resource depletion, and social upheaval led to the toppling of many statues, marking the end of an era and the beginning of new mysteries. This dramatic shift left behind a lingering question. How did a small, isolated population with limited resources manage to transport these massive stone figures, some weighing over 80 tons, for miles across the island? The answer remains one of the greatest enigmas of Easter Island, inviting us to look deeper into the echoes of this lost civilization. For decades, the most popular theory for how the Moai were moved was a story of brute force and environmental tragedy. Scientists concluded that the Rapa Nui must have used a system of wooden rollers, leading to the ecocide hypothesis. This narrative portrayed the Rapa Nui as short-sighted and primitive, unable to manage their resources wisely. However, it overlooked a crucial source of information: the oral traditions of the Rapa Nui people themselves. Their stories told of the statues walking to their destinations, moved in an upright position, animated by the spiritual power of mana. For a long time, science had no room for such a seemingly impossible explanation. But what if the oral traditions were not describing a magical event, but a brilliant forgotten technology? What if the story of walking was a literal description of an ingenious engineering method, lost to time but preserved in memory? A groundbreaking new study is turning the old story on its head. Led by archaeologists Carl Lipo and Terry Hunt, this research provides powerful evidence that the Rapa Nui oral traditions were right all along. The Moai did, in fact, walk. This walking hypothesis suggests that the statues were transported in an upright position, using a clever technique of rocking and shuffling them forward. The key to this method lies in the specific design of the statues themselves. The walking process involved small teams using ropes to create a gentle rocking motion, making the giant walk with a steady, shuffling gait. This method was elegant, efficient, and required far fewer people and resources than the log rolling theory. The research validates the wisdom of the island's ancestors, suggesting they had mastered principles of physics and engineering. The Moai did not walk by magic. They walked by the power of human ingenuity. To test the walking hypothesis, Carl Lipo and Terry Hunt embarked on a remarkable experiment. They commissioned a precise replica of a Moai to see if they could make it walk using only ropes and human power. A team of just 18 people, using 3 heavy-duty ropes, was able to successfully move the 5-ton replica. By pulling rhythmically on the ropes, they tilted the statue from side to side, causing it to pivot and shuffle forward. The team managed to move the statue a distance of 100 meters in just 40 minutes. This experiment directly addressed many criticisms against the walking hypothesis, proving it practical and surprisingly fast. The successful demonstration showed that the Rapa Nui did not need massive armies of laborers to move their ancestral figures. The sight of a Moai walking once again provided undeniable evidence that the Rapa Nui were masters of their craft. The confirmation of the walking hypothesis fundamentally rewrites the story of Easter Island. The long dominant narrative of ecocide is now being seriously challenged. If the Moai were walked upright, then the vast quantities of logs needed for rollers were never required. This new understanding recasts the Rapa Nui people as brilliant and sustainable engineers. They developed a method for transporting colossal weights that was incredibly resource efficient. The Moai are no longer symbols of failure. They are monuments to sustainable innovation. This shift in perspective is incredibly important, showing a society that was resilient, adaptive, and highly intelligent. Their story is not one of doom, but one of incredible human achievement against the odds. The walking Moai force us to reconsider what we think we know about the past and to be more critical of the stories we tell. The evidence for the walking hypothesis is not just in the statues themselves, but also in the very ground they traveled over. The landscape of Easter Island is more than a backdrop. It's a living record of the islanders' ingenuity and determination. Every path, every groove, and every scar in the earth tells a story about how the Moai were moved. The Rapa Nui built an extensive network of roads, known as ara, to connect the Rano Raraku quarry to the ceremonial platforms across the island. These roads, stretching for miles, were carefully planned and constructed, showing a deep understanding of both the landscape and the monumental task at hand. With the walking theory in mind, archaeologists have re-examined these ancient pathways and found that they are perfectly designed to facilitate the upright transport of the Moai. The road's unique features suggest they were purpose-built for this extraordinary feat, rather than for ordinary travel or rolling heavy objects. Unlike modern roads, the Moai roads are not flat. They are distinctly concave, with a gentle depression running down the middle. This subtle but intentional design would have helped guide the statues and keep them balanced as they rocked from side to side. This shape would have been terrible for rolling logs, but perfect for a walking statue. The concave profile cradled the base of the Moai, preventing them from tipping over easily and making the walking method far more plausible. The condition of the roads provides more clues, with many Moai found fallen forward or backward, exactly as you would expect if a walking attempt had failed. These fallen giants are silent witnesses to the risks and challenges faced by the Rapa Nui as they moved their creations. The latest research by Lipo and Hunt shows a clear correlation between statue design and road location. Statues found along these routes often have features that make them easier to move upright, such as a forward-leaning posture and a rounded base. The statues intended for transport have the walking features, while the ones that reach their final destination were often modified for stability. Once in place, their bases were altered to ensure they stood firm on the ceremonial platforms, marking the end of their incredible journey. Every piece of evidence points to a single, elegant solution. They walked. The landscape, the roads, and the statues themselves all come together to reveal the remarkable story of how the Moai crossed the island, step by step, guided by the hands and minds of the Rapa Nui people. This groundbreaking discovery has profound implications that extend far beyond the world of archaeology. It challenges long-held assumptions and opens up new avenues for understanding the complex history of human ingenuity and adaptation. The findings not only rewrite the story of Rapa Nui, but also invite us to reconsider how ancient societies around the world solved their greatest challenges. For the modern Rapa Nui people, the descendants of the statue builders. This research is a powerful validation of their cultural heritage. It affirms the stories passed down through generations, stories that have survived despite centuries of misunderstanding and outside speculation. The scientific confirmation of their ancestral stories is a source of immense pride, reinforcing the deep wisdom and ingenuity of their forebears. It strengthens the community's sense of identity and belonging, and inspires younger generations to reconnect with their roots. The renewed global interest in the Moai mystery is also poised to have a significant impact on the island's economy. As the world turns its gaze to Easter Island, opportunities for cultural exchange and economic growth are on the horizon. The excitement surrounding these new findings is likely to inspire a new wave of travelers, eager to see the walking giants and learn the true story of their creation. This surge in tourism brings both promise and responsibility for the island's future. As tourism grows, it also brings challenges, and the increased attention must be managed sustainably to protect the fragile archaeological sites. Conservation efforts and education are more important than ever to ensure that the Moai and their stories endure for generations to come. The Rapa Nui are the guardians of this precious heritage, and the new narrative empowers them to take a leading role in shaping the future of tourism on their island. Their voices and traditions are now at the forefront of how the world experiences Rapa Nui. This discovery is about more than just tourism or science. It is about justice for the historical record. It is a moment of recognition and respect for a people whose achievements have too often been overlooked or misunderstood. For Rapa Nui, it is a new dawn, one where the genius of the past illuminates a proud future. The island stands as a testament to resilience, creativity, and the enduring power of cultural memory. The story of the walking Moai is a profound lesson for our time. It teaches us to approach the past with humility and to question the assumptions we make about ancient civilizations. The Rapa Nui engineers who mastered physics and resource management to make stone walk prove how wrong that perspective is. This discovery is a powerful call to respect and listen to indigenous knowledge. The oral traditions of the Rapa Nui held the key to the Moai mystery for centuries. By finally taking these stories seriously, researchers were able to unlock a deeper truth. The walking Moai also inspire us to rethink our own relationship with technology and the environment. Their legacy challenges us to find more sustainable and ingenious solutions to the great challenges we face today. What other ancient secrets are waiting to be understood, if only we learn to listen?